Hello everyone, this is Tom Fox. I would like to welcome you to the Sunday Book Review. The Sunday Book Review is the series where I discuss books which impact the compliance practitioner, the legal professional, and the business professional. I hope you will enjoy this episode. The Sunday Book Review for December 5th, 2021, the Boston Celtics edition. Today we take things in a little bit different direction as we review three books about the Boston Celtics. So I'm not a big Celtics fan because of the stompings they gave to the Houston Rockets back in the 80s, but if you're from New England, this is definitely the podcast for you. First up, If These Walls Could Talk, Boston Celtics, stories from the Boston Celtics sideline, locker room, and press box by Cedric Cornbread, Maxwell, and Mike Isenberg. Having won 2 NBA titles with the Celtics before joining the broadcast team as a radio analyst, Cedric Maxwell knows what it means to live and breathe Boston Celtics basketball. In this book, he opens up about his life and career and provides insights into the team's inner sanctum as only he can, from Larry Bird to the Big Three and up into the current roster. Next up, it was fun or rather wish it had lasted forever, Life with the Larry Bird Celtics by Dan Shaughnessy. The NBA is a vast global franchise, but it wasn't always that way. When Dan Shaughnessy, the beat reporter for the Boston Globe who covered the Celtics from 82 to 86, he reports on a time when teams flew commercial airlines, rode buses, and stayed in the same hotels, drawing on an unprecedented access and personal experiences that would not be possible for any reporter today. Shaughnessy takes us inside the legendary Larry Bird-led Celtics, capturing the camaraderie as they rose to dominate the NBA, or at least compete with the Showtime LA Lakers. Fans can witness the cockiness of Bird, the ageless athleticism of Robert Parrish, the shooting skills of Kevin McHale, the fierce self-sacrificing play of Bill Walton, and the playful humor of players like Danny Ainge, Cedric Maxwell, and M.L. Carr. And finally, the Big Three, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and the rebirth of the Boston Celtics. The first of the Big Three was Paul Pierce. He was with the team for since 2000, and he struggled for a long time, but in 2007, there were 2 monumental trades bringing Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett to Boston. These three became the Big Three, and this team brought an excitement back to the Boston Garden, one of the most storied franchises of all time. They met their historic rivals, the Lakers, in the 2008 Finals, winning in 6 games on a rout in the home court. This book details the story of that magical season and how the Big Three came together, how their distinct and disparate personalities meshed to create a truly great team. They won the title, and they were in contention for several others. So if you're a Boston Celtics fan, I hope you've enjoyed these 3 books. They represent different eras of the Celtics, but it's a lot of fun. And if you're interested in the NBA, I would also suggest you take a look at these books. We have a couple of new podcasts out on the Compliance Podcast Network I'd like to tell you about. The first is Hidden Traffic, where host Gwen Hassan looks at modern slavery and human trafficking. Gwen is well known in the compliance community for her passion around this topic, and she brings that passion to this new podcast. Also, I have a podcast on presidential leadership lessons for the business executives. What can business executives learn from the now 46 presidents, and how can you incorporate those into your business and leadership strategies going forward? This is appropriate for the CEO, the CCO, the CFO, or anyone else who's in a leadership position. Also, I ran a 5-part series on understanding Lyme disease. So if you've known anyone who's been afflicted by this, or if you've been afflicted, I know you'll find this an incredibly important series. Check it out on the Compliance Podcast Network, the podcast Greeting and Felicitations.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.